We needed to see, how is this guy God going to behave towards a guy that has the sin and death of the world on him?
Right.
That we needed to see, right? We also needed our death to be conquered and our sin to be conquered, but we also needed to see that the one who possessed the ability to conquer it would. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? We needed to see that he drawed near to us when we're in our sin and our death. Not that he leaves us there to die. We needed to see that the one who could save you, right? It's like man might have known that there was one who could save them, but would he want to?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And it's like Hebrews talks about Jesus. He was tempted in every way we were. He tasted our death. He put on our weakness, our dying body, came in the likeness of sinful flesh. And it says he called out to the one who could save him. So he didn't just see that God could. He saw that this guy's heart was full of saving.
Yeah.
Right? That he could only ever think of how he wants to save. He could only ever think of how he wants to deliver, how he wants to justify, how he wants to heal. He wants to make whole. He wants to give life. And Jesus knew that about God. So when he found himself in the place where he needed saving, he called out to the one who was full of power to save.
Yeah.
Right? And like James just said, that is like a light.
Yeah.
It's like a bright light that shone in the midst of all of us that were in darkness.
Yes.
Right? That
Right.
the scriptures
He
talk
went
about. A bright
before-
light.
He went before us. Just
Yes,
like
a bright light has
Yeah.
shone
Yeah.
in the midst of all those who were in darkness.
Mm.
Us. Now we see that God's heart was filled with loving kindness towards us even when we were dead in our sin. Right? And so now, when we find ourselves needing to be saved, our hearts cry to the one who can save instead of looking to our own arm. Right?
Mhm.
And because Jesus went before us.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
He showed us the way. He's a light unto our feet and a lamp unto our way. And where does he lead us? He leads us to the place where we can see God's filled with nothing but loving kindness towards us. He's only ever been filled with loving kindness towards us. He leads us to that place. How does he lead us there? He takes our sin and our death upon him and says, let's see what God does.
Yeah.
Let's test it. Let's have an experiment. You guys think God's the one that left you here like this? You think God won't save you? You think God has abhorred you in your affliction? You think God's forsaken you? You think you're an orphan? Well, I've tried telling you it's not true. Well, let's test your theory. Let's have an experiment. I'll take your sin and death upon me, and let's see what God does.
Wow.
Let's see what that guy God does. Let's put it to rest once and for all. Right? And here comes God, raising Jesus up from the dead. Right? And kind of like Abraham. Do you know how Abraham initially thought that he would bring forth the seed through his own ability? And so then it says there was about 17 years in between the time. And so now Abraham's body was dead. Right?
Right.
Really dead. So first Sarah's womb was dead, but Abraham could still bring forth seed. So now God's like, all right, Abraham doesn't quite get it. He still thinks he's going to bring forth the seed. So there's a period of 17 years that goes by where Abraham's body now becomes dead. So now there's no chance that either one of them can bring forth any seed. They're dead. And now here comes a God who possesses the ability to bring forth seed out of the dead. Right? So Jesus, he doesn't just like heart stop beating for 15 minutes or 30 minutes where people could get confused and think, well, maybe he didn't really die. No. That guy went into the grave for 3 days.
Right.
I mean, dead. Right? I mean, body hard. Right? I mean, dead. The guy's dead. And now here comes God and raises that guy from the dead. Right? There could be no confusion. We didn't misdiagnose.
No, that's
it's
right.
not that he wasn't really dead and he, woke
Right.
back up. No. This guy's dead.
Yeah.
Right? And here comes God. The God that can raise the dead. Right? And that revelation, man, it will make you happy. You'll start to see you have a best friend. His name is Abba. You start sharing everything with your best friend. You start talking with your best friend all the time. You start to see your best friend there, always defending your honor, always defending your integrity, always defending your name, always defending your life. You see how he's exalted your life and sat it next to him at his right hand, far above the corruption in this earth, that the sin and death in this earth can't climb into heaven and touch our life. And you start finding yourself filled with joy.
Right.
You start finding yourself being established on the rock from which you were hewn. So we were hewn from the rock, but our emotions and our lives hadn't really been built on the rock. We've kind of built our emotions and our lives and our beliefs on the sand. And so our house kept getting swept away.
That's right.
Swept. We keep trying to build a house. We keep trying to make our lives look pretty by the works of our own hands.
Yep.
And we even use the gospel to do it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we get our house to the place where we think it looks pretty good and you know? And now God comes. No. God has come. God's like, I'm the one that builds the temple. You don't build the temple.
Yeah.
I'm going to build you a house.
Right.
I'm going to build you a body. Right? And so now he's built a body for us that can't die. And now he's come and revealed that to us. And now when we get our eyes set on that, our lives begin to be established upon the rock from which we were always hewn, instead of just our mind saying, yeah, I was hewn from the rock.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, what does that mean?
Yeah. Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, there